Put some water in one of these little super soakers and watch what happens as I squirt the water out. You're going to see how it pretty much vaporizes it. Heat things up again. That's that energy needed to get those storms to develop. 2 to 3 inches of rain imminent. Mount Home, Harrison, flooding could be an issue for you down there.
You are in Stockton, anywhere along Stockton Lake right now. You want to take shelter as well.
Our threat track numbers. This is again that scale of 1 to 5 where we kind of gauge the storm for you, give you a better idea of where the most significant impacts will be. The snowflakes are huge right now as they come down. I'm on a little outer road right along Highway 13, but I'm just going to take the old shovel and just kind of show you as we kind of go along here. Whew! I mean, that's some good stuff right there. The windows, take a look at this. There's a light little glaze of ice. We've seen 2 slide-offs all morning. Of course, not a lot of people out at 5:30 in the morning. Things ramp up here in the next half an hour or so, but a lot of people also off because of President's Day today, which is some great timing for so many to not have to be out there. All right, let's take a look at your weather here this afternoon. Over the next several days, the temperatures, well, we all know they've been up there. Okay, the average high this time of the year, we're talking about 73, 74 degrees. That is this line right here. Here's your highs again tomorrow, well above that. And even as we head into the weekend, while we're going to be seeing some slightly cooler temperatures, we're still going to be staying above average with these readings as we continue to head through the month of May. Now, the reason for the warm temperatures right now, we are socked right in the middle of an area of a warm front that's lifted well to our north that continues to draw in this warm moist air from the Gulf, keeping us relatively dry right now, but we're starting to increase that moisture across the area. We will see moisture eventually falling from the clouds by Thursday. That's when this cold front comes along and provides that lift you need to enhance the thunderstorm development, and the potential will exist for maybe some severe weather to occur as well. Let's get you kind of a closer view and kind of pinpoint this hour by hour. Take you into tomorrow, noon tomorrow. No issues at all. Still another warm day. You're going to need the umbrella though coming up on Thursday. Now there's still some, well, questions in regard to how this system is going to evolve, but here's what we think is going to happen. First, into the morning and afternoon, there could be some showers and thunderstorms developing out to the west. Those will move through. The question is whether or not the atmosphere can once again destabilize. Now, what I mean by that is if we can get the sun to come back out, heat things up again, that's that energy needed to get those storms to develop. If that can occur, then we may have a higher threat for some severe weather. But it's going to be something we're going to have to wait and watch and see Thursday morning to again see how things develop. As of right now, I put together a threat track to kind of show you the area of enhanced weather threats here. As you can see, we've got a 3 for mainly areas here, well, close to Lebanon, down towards Ava, Branson, and to the west, if those ingredients can all come together on Thursday. So again, circle Thursday there and keep checking back with us as we fine-tune the forecast. Precipitation over the next couple of days, or I should say the next several days, we're talking about around 2 inches. Now, we could use the rain as we continue to stay well below average for this time of the year, so hopefully this can do some good for us. In the meantime, tomorrow, again, your nice day with highs into the mid-80s. But notice the clouds and the rain coming in and cooling those temperatures off for Thursday with highs only in the upper 70s. Outside right now, it's a nice one. We're at 86 degrees. A little bit on the windy side, though. And those winds continue to draw in that moisture. Winds are gusting to 25. And when we look at the dew point, the dew point's the measure amount of moisture in the air. We're up to 62. And remember, as this number goes higher, the more uncomfortable it feels. Here's kind of a scale of that. 61 to 65, that's when it starts to get a little sticky out there. And we're going to see that number increasing a bit and maybe getting into that uncomfortable category here by the end of the week. Right now, we're at 86 in Monette, 90 in Camdenton, 86 in Branson, falling to the low 70s by 11 o'clock. So if you're heading out and about tonight, grabbing a bite to eat, catching a movie, do some shopping, got some soccer practice, no issues at all there, you're okay. 65 for a low, clear and mild. Tomorrow, those winds kicking back up again out of the south, 25 miles an hour, 87 for the high. How about this 7-day? A lot of rain in there. I think Saturday we may actually see a dry day, but Saturday night could be a little soggy.
So that's the time to get out.
Saturday during the day, around noon, get out there and enjoy it because it may be a little soggy after that. All right, here's a setup for our next storm system. It is first, believe it or not, going to warm up tomorrow. That's right, temperatures in the 50s, but then here comes the cold front with the cold air. Look at all the moisture here ahead of that front in the form of rain, but then behind it, as the cold air arrives, another wave. And behind it, we're talking about snow and some ice developing into the day on Wednesday. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of how this is all going to play out. Let's get more specific for you, get right down to the Ozarks and show you how this will play out through tonight. First, a little bit of drizzle tonight. Scattered light showers, hit and miss across the area overnight into tomorrow. Maybe a little bit more widespread shower activity during the day on Tuesday. Again, this is all rain through Tuesday evening because we're going to make it actually into the lower 50s for highs across the area. So no fear of any freezing precipitation for Tuesday. But I got to tell you, Wednesday morning's commute is looking to be a very tricky one. And here is why. Look what happens here. 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, already starting to see that transition over to some freezing rain, sleet, and snow, depending upon where this freezing line sets up. And that's what we're really trying to fine tune right now, is exactly where that is, because that will have great impacts on how much snow or ice you will see. Obviously, as that line goes more to the north, you're talking more snow for areas. But if you go down to the south, you're talking less snow for areas up here to the north. But it looks like it's going to set up something along the lines of this, especially right along I-44 and points to the south is where I think the biggest opportunity for some accumulation of some ice and snow will occur. So let's go ahead and show you our threat track numbers. This is, again, that scale of 1 to 5, where we kind of gauge the storm for you, give you a better idea of where the most significant impacts will be. And we've got a 2 up here to the north, low threat, 3 elevated here, including Springfield up to Fort Leonard Wood, Houston. But then we've got the 4 down here, and we think that closer to Branson, West Plains, Mountain Home, this is where you're going to have some pretty big impacts with this storm in terms of accumulation. Now, I won't get specific on some of the amounts here just yet, but I can tell you this, there's already a winter storm watch in effect for areas across northern Arkansas, okay? And I know you're saying, okay, does that mean Missouri's not going to get anything? No, it's just there's a different weather office that is basically sending out the advisories and watches and whatnot, and they've opted not to go with anything yet. It'll happen. It will at least get a winter weather advisory, but closer to the actual event. But they've already got that winter storm watch for northern Arkansas, and that kind of lines up with my thinking of down there, it could be a little bit worse. All right, so let's look at temperatures here, really bottoming out there. But then look at this, warming back up as we head into next weekend. There's Stockton Lake. As you can see, still a little treacherous there in those bridges and overpasses. Keep that in mind as you're out and about. 37 right now in Springfield, bit of a wind, 10, 15 miles an hour. And again, these temperatures above freezing right now. Wind chills in the upper 20s. If you're heading out and about, you're going to find those temperatures again hovering right there a few degrees above freezing. 34 is we're actually going to call the low for tonight with a drizzle. 52, scattered showers starting to melt away the snow. And then there's that next system. Wednesday, not the best day. And then if we put some snow on the ground, we're talking 7 Thursday morning. But light at the end of the tunnel, my friends. Light at the end of the tunnel. 50s and maybe a pattern change for the middle of March. But Wednesday is going to be rough. Somebody's going to get, so there's some indications of pretty heavy snowfall for some locations.
Okay. We're prepared now.
Get you ready.
Thanks, Kevin. Is it really minus 10 degrees right now?
Yeah, it really is. Temperatures have really fallen out here with the clear skies and the calm winds now. How cold? Well, I got a little experiment I wanted to show you guys. We put some water in one of these little super soakers, and watch what happens as I squirt the water out. You're going to see how it pretty much vaporizes it. It evaporates it quickly. Look at that, how it just basically takes that water stream and, again, with just how cold it is, pretty much freezes it on contact there as it evaporates. Kind of cool stuff right there. Again, this little super soaker with that water. Okay, that's a good enough example of how cold it is. Here's the maps to prove it to you as well.
But I really feel that this is where the actual tornado is, right along the Cedar and Dade County line. And I'm going to confirm that by looking at our little velocity scope that allows us to see the winds. And boom, there it is. Right there, we've got kind of those reds and those greens kind of coming right next to one another. I'm telling you right now, if you are in Jericho Springs, you definitely want to take shelter immediately. If you are in Stockton, anywhere along Stockton Lake right now, you want to take shelter as well.
It's a mess again tonight.
Well, it really is. The snowflakes are huge right now as they come down. Our parking lot this morning when I came, or this afternoon when I came to work, it was clear. Now, there are several inches of snow that have piled up here. As a matter of fact, if I take out the tape measure, you're going to measure about 3 inches of snow here just in our parking lot.
Outside of our studio, Kevin, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you right now, the biggest problem tonight is the freezing drizzle that is coming down. There's a little drizzle here, and obviously the temperatures are below freezing. So anything that is falling is freezing on contact with any objects out here, including out here, our parking lot. I mean, I can kind of slide along here, as you can see. And then also the windows. Take a look at this. There's a light little glaze of ice all over anything that obviously is metal and windows and parking lots like this. So you've got to take it easy. It's very deceiving because, again, you don't see a whole lot falling from the sky. Let's show you the radar here. I'm on a little outer road right along Highway 13, but I'm just going to take the old shovel and just kind of show you as we kind of go along here. Whew! I mean, that's some good stuff right there. I mean, we're really piling this stuff up here just to the north of Springfield and here in Bolivar. Traffic moving along very slowly. Highway 65 and these roads are covered out here. The snow is continuing to fall here across the Ozarks, so you need to take it slow. We continue to see the plows coming along here one after another, but the snow just keeps coming. So be careful if you're going to be heading out here this afternoon. I got something for you, Lauren. How about a nice little snowball to kind of end the morning here? Thanks for joining us.
I love it.
How about
Kevin,
that? Right
thanks so much for all your hard work and your freezing out.
We were wondering how the weather played a role. Let's check back in with Kevin for the answer.
Well, as many of you know, if you have flown before, we usually fly above the clouds, for the exception of when there's obviously a cloudy day. But as you make your descent into the airport, let's say those clouds are usually at about 3,000 feet. So as the plane's coming in here, you're in the clouds, and then you're out of them, okay? And the pilot makes his way down to the runway and lands safely. On the night of this accident, this cloud deck was all the way down at 700 feet. So that makes this plane, as it was heading down, making its descent, not being able to see visually anything, okay, until it gets to 700 feet. At this point, the pilot should have been using his instruments to be able to tell where he was. For some reason, that didn't happen. So as the plane got below 700 feet, suddenly he recognized what was wrong and didn't have enough time to correct. The plane crashed then 6 miles to the northwest of the airport. And again, a lot of this having to do with the visibility, not being able to see anything until about 700 feet above the ground.